I've never weighed like 300 pounds and had to lose a bunch of weight. I've helped a lot of people lose weight. I've helped a lot of people start exercise. But I've always been exercise. This is the one area of my life that I have struggled with since I was a young child, has been sleep for me. And I'm speaking, the information I'm going to teach on is firsthand information. This isn't from a book. This isn't from it's things I've read, but every bit of this I've applied, and I know what works and what doesn't work. And I've helped a lot of patients through this as well. Okay, so I'm excited for you. I do want to let you guys know, you guys are the cool crowd. It's the week before Christmas. Everybody's busy. Nobody has time. It's a stressful time of year, and y'all are learning about health. That really speaks to who you are, what you want to accomplish, what your goals are. Has everybody here thought about their goals for the health goals for the next year? Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. Have you guys written them down or? Awesome. This is the time of year where here's what you get to do. You get to reflect on last year and go, you know what, I didn't like that, this part, and I'm going to change it going forward. So this is a great time of reflection. This is also the time of year where you should be sleeping more than ever. The sun is not out. This is the time for relaxation. This is the time for rest, to recuperate. So this is your biological clock should be telling you to sleep more. And if you're not, you're going to have all the tools you need. Okay? So let's get into it. Our mission with this clinic, plain and simple, is and this is number one. You guys on the sheet, this is answer number one or question number one. The mission of this clinic is we want to protect individuals and families to not be the victim of the average. The average American in the United States is obese. Like, that's the new average. The average American, age 60 in America, takes 13 medications. The average American spends $14,000 per year on healthcare costs. The average American will get cancer. The average American most likely will get heart disease. I don't want to be average. We want to protect you from the average. We really want you to be exceptional when it comes to your health. And what I learned early on is if health is there, you can be an exceptional parent. You can be exceptional in your job. You can be an exceptional in other areas. But if you're not exceptional in health and you're lacking there, it makes everything else harder. It makes everything else more difficult. We feel like our lane is health and is protect you from being the average. You do not want to be the average American when it comes to health. So if you're not going to be the average American when it comes to health, this is the difficult conversation, is you can't be doing what your friends are doing and what your family's doing for the most part. You have to have the courage to be different and take different actions, because most likely, now you may have a cool group of people, family that's really healthy, but it's been even in my family and my experience, it takes time for them to see what you're doing, and then hopefully they'll catch on. That's what happened in my family. But it started with my uncle, who was the first chiropractor, and now we're all down that path. But he had to hoe a rough road for a long time, where he was the weird one. He was the only one that didn't eat at McDonald's. He was the one that didn't give his kids candy. We all kind of mocked him a little bit for that, but we didn't know that he was actually didn't want to be the average. So you guys have to have courage to do things differently, and a lot of things we're going to cover is going to be different. So what do we know about sleep disorders? 50 to 70 million Americans have full-blown sleep disorders. That's number two, 50 to 70 million Americans. That is 1/5 to 1/6 of the entire population. Now, we'll get into this more in depth, but a sleep disorder means, can anybody tell me, what do you think I know we have some doctors and dentists in the room here. Does anybody know what it means if you technically have a sleep disorder?
Yeah, because I do.
So what's it mean if you have a sleep disorder?
Sleep apnea.
So what a sleep disorder means is you cannot sleep normally without either taking something or having some type of machine. You have to have a medical aid or you're not going to sleep normally. 50 to 70 million people cannot go to sleep without some type of help. That's massive. 90 million adults do not receive adequate sleep. So we would call that they have sleep problems. Not a sleep disorder, but they have sleep problems. 25 to 50% of children have sleep problems. 40% of adolescents have sleep problems. 73 to 87% of high school students do not get enough sleep. And I am one of these statistics. Okay, I have 3 gene mutations called MTHFR. Is anybody familiar with MTHFR? Show of hands. Nobody here is. Okay, this is massive. If you are Caucasian, you need to be tested for this. 30 to 60% of Caucasians in America have at least one of these mutations. And what this means is you cannot break down folic acid. Folic acid is in everything. It's in any fortified or enriched food. So if you have a cracker, a cookie, a chip, a piece of bread, it's going to be fortified with folic acid and your body cannot break it down. And you are going to make what's called homocysteine, and it's going to cause insomnia and other health issues. So has anybody done the 23andMe testing or the Ancestry.com? You can take your data, you can go and you can plug it into a website called Genetic Genie for free. Genetic Genie. And it will tell you if you have that gene mutation. There's 5 of them called MTHR. It's in your liver. It's how you break down B vitamins. This is very important. This is cutting edge medical research. Now, if you're African American, you have it's like 1 to 2%, but Hispanic descent and Caucasian descent have between 30 and 60% have at least one of these gene mutations. And I have 3 of them. And this was one of the reasons I didn't know I had this till I got B vitamin testing. But I have to take a specific form of folate, and if I eat processed food, I do not get away with it. So no processed food for me. All right, so lack of sleep equals disease. This is this box here, number 3. Lack of sleep has been linked to heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, obesity, depression, mood disorders, anxiety, specific cancers, breast, colon, ovarian, and prostate cancer. And the big latest finding is dementia. And the research is really strong on this. Why I share this with you is what I'll hear from a lot of patients is, I don't get enough sleep, but it's not that big a deal. I can make it through life. I'm doing okay. It's okay being a little tired. This is a big deal. Getting enough sleep is a big deal. Sleep is the glue that holds all your other healthy things you're trying to do together. I know this. I was exercising, I was eating right, taking good supplementation, doing all the right things, but if I'm not sleeping, that glue, it's not going to hold together. It's going to break apart. So, 9 signs you need better sleep. High blood pressure, you're unable to focus or remember things. You get frequent coughs or colds. If you have a weekend, you end up sleeping in late. A big thing we're going to get into, it's important that you have the same bedtime, but what's most important is you wake up at the same time every day. That is what's most important. That takes precedent. Your blood sugar could be creeping up because of this. You have inability to lose weight. So you're exercising, you're eating better, but the weight's not really coming off. It could be a lack of sleep. You have to consume caffeine daily. Is anybody in that club? Besides, that's...
Well, you don't have to, but I want to.
That's
I love it. Hey, that's my only advice.
that's there's some that are a lot worse. That's.
I get that.
But if you really, here's a good test. If you were not to have it, would it be rough?
For the first few days.
So that's a sign. That's too much caffeine. You can't stop hitting the snooze button, so you don't want to get out of bed in the morning, and then you're irritable or moody. These are all signs that you're not regulating your nervous system and you're not getting enough sleep. So
Bad news for all of us insomniacs out here, but as we do more research into the brain, we're increasingly realizing that sleep is one of the most essential things we need to be functioning, healthy human beings. And new research looks into how sleep helps us maintain clean brains. But what does that mean? And why is that important? Well, to understand this latest news, we have to go back to 2013, when a study of mouse brains found that while those furry little rodents slept, neurotoxic waste products got swept away. Some kind of cleaning crew comes in overnight and gets rid of built-up stuff like beta amyloid, that sticky peptide that can aggregate into plaques and disrupt brain function. Amyloid plaques are highly associated with the occurrence of diseases like Alzheimer's, and the amyloid hypothesis suggests that amyloid plaques could be the primary cause of that devastating disease. So it's real nice that your brain can get rid of it while you sleep. That 2013 study saw an interesting relationship. While the mice slept, their lymphatic systems opened up. This let in a big wash of cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, which seemed to clear these waste products away. And just so you know, CSF is a watery, clear substance that surrounds your brain and spinal cord and acts kind of like a little cushion to protect your brain and provide it with nutrients. A team at Boston University took this 2013 finding and wanted to know exactly how. In this new study they published in Science, the researchers delved into what about sleep was so special. Why did a sleep state in particular allow for these changes in the brain? The team got human participants to fall asleep inside an fMRI machine, which seems like quite a feat in itself, and which let the team measure both the blood oxygen levels in the participants' brains and show the flux of cerebrospinal fluid. They also measured the electrical currents in subjects' brains using an EEG cap. The results gave the team a pretty clear answer, one that came in waves. We've been finding out more over the past several years about the phases our brains go through while we sleep, and how those phases are essential to information processing and memory formation. And it turns out it's not just during rapid eye movement sleep or REM sleep that our brains are consolidating information and committing it to our long-term memory, but they're doing it during non-REM sleep too. And in humans, these two states of sleep, REM and non-REM, alternate throughout the night. Non-REM sleep is divided into 3 stages, and that third stage is our deepest state of sleep, called slow wave sleep.
So that was, first half is really what I wanted to highlight. And this is number 4. When you sleep deeply, your brain is washed with CSF, cerebral spinal fluid. And the most of your blood circulation is moved to your liver. To your liver. Does anybody want to venture a guess why your liver engorges? I think the stat is almost with 3 more pounds of blood when you're sleeping than when you're not asleep. What's the liver do? What's the main function? Detoxification. So this is sleep. I want you to sleep equals detox. Not sleeping well and sleeping deeply equals accumulations of toxins both in the blood and the brain. That deep sleep is so important for the detox process. Your liver is washed with blood and your brain is washed with cerebral spinal fluid. So sleep is our restorative process. The best neurotropic, the brain stimulant, is sleep. The best stress relief, sleep. The best trauma release, sleep. Best immune booster, sleep. You guys getting the point here? Best hormonal augmentation, sleep. Best emotional stabilizer, sleep. Best detox, sleep. Hands down. It is the best thing for multiple processes that you cannot really get anywhere else. This cannot be replaced, okay? You guys with me? You cannot outwork your way. You can't eat your way out of sleep. We've got to sleep. So what causes sleep issues? There's 3 categories of sleep problems, and I want you to think about where you're at. Problem sleeping. That means every once in a while, maybe once or twice a week, you can't go to sleep. I have a sleep problem. That means more nights than not, I'm going to have trouble going to sleep. Clinical sleep problem, which we covered. Can anybody remind me, what's it mean if you have a clinical sleep problem?
Not sleeping normal.
You're not, and you have to have what? You have to have a machine, or you have to have something outside in, or you're not going to go to sleep or have good sleep. Is everybody with me? So what category? I kind of vacillated between these two. You may kind of be between two others, or there may be somebody here that has great sleep, and you're just going to be able to take this information and give it to other people. But I want you to think about, do you have a sleeping problem? Do you have a problem sleeping? Do you have a sleep problem? Or do you have a clinical sleep problem? Okay, be honest with yourself. So poor sleep is the oil light. It is not really the core issue. It's a sign of something else going on in your body. Is everybody with me? So we want to identify, I'm not sleeping. What is going on? Something else is going on. We're going to cover what are the main things that could be. The number one thing that is going to be is that you have an imbalance in your autonomic nervous system, which is made up of your sympathetic and your parasympathetic. Sympathetic is the fight, flight, or freeze response. So when you're in traffic here on Memorial and 71st around Christmas time, or I maybe just put some of you into fight or flight. Yeah. So that is when your shoulders get tight. It's going to do things to your pupils. It's going to change your digestive system. It's going to change your blood flow. It's going to change your hormones. It's great in short amounts of time, but we don't want to chronically be there. Parasympathetic is where we want to spend 95% of our life. That's rest and relaxed. If you went through childhood trauma or an extremely traumatic experience, a massive car wreck or an old injury, you may be stuck in sympathetic mode. You're not good at regulating these nervous systems. And the literature is really clear on that, okay? So poor sleep equals an overactive sympathetic nervous system. That is the cause. So we've got to figure out, if you're not sleeping well, why is your sympathetic nervous system overactive? So if we really lived how we were designed, if we were all like a tribe, let's say we started a tribe here, okay? And we were cavemen and cavewomen. No artificial light, no cell phones. We were eating, we'd kill something like a mammoth. We would eat all of it. We would sleep incredible. We know this by studying hunter-gatherer tribes. They don't have sleep problems. They're living the life they designed, that they were designed to live. They're really in tune with how they were made to live. We've kind of stepped out of that. So we got to find what are the big levers we can pull to get back in that zone. Is everybody with me? Okay. So the 3 steps to fixing sleep. Number 1, we're going to talk about moving our body and eating right. So we want to skip the late night snack. Who here is a late night snacker with me? Okay, thank you. I am. So typically you're like that. You have those from being in sympathetic nervous systems that will make you crave salty, sugary foods. So that goes hand in hand with that overstimulated sympathetic nervous system. And I'm with you guys. So if we really want to not fulfill those cravings, okay? Now the main reason for this, it's terrible for weight gain. It's going to make you feel bad. It's going to make you be more inflamed when you sleep. But the big thing, this is the big note. If you eat before you go to bed, so say you eat and you fall asleep, you are not going to release human growth hormone when you're sleeping. You release human growth hormone 1 to 3 hours after you fall asleep. And that is the biggest repair hormone you have in your body. It's what repairs all the damaged tissue when you're sleeping. So if everybody woke up and felt worse before they went to bed, you're kind of... Typically, people that are late night snackers will feel that. You'll be inflamed and you're not releasing human growth hormone, so you're not repairing your body when you're sleeping. This is a huge... Human growth hormone is the fountain of youth, guys. We want to have it high. That is the main reason we don't want to snack before we go to bed. Okay, you're not going to sleep as good, first of all, because your digestive system is working. Your liver is going to have to work to utilize that food. We don't want your liver to be working on digestion. We want it full of blood so it can detox your blood. Is everybody with me? Okay, so the big step with food is do not eat before bed. Skip the late night snacks. Can I give you guys my trick? Are you ready for a trick? Salted cucumbers. is the best snack, hands down. It's mostly water. Cucumbers are like 98% water. It's not going to really act like food to your body. The salt will kind of trigger that craving that you want before bed. That is my secret weapon for late night snacking. Okay, salt a bunch. What was that? It's crunchy. It hits all those neurological things that we want, so we don't go for the chips or something sweet, or heaven forbid the ice cream before you go to bed. I've never done that. So salty cucumbers is the hack. Okay? So number 6, when you eat before bed, your body fails to adequately make HGH, human growth hormone, which is essential for tissue repair. We want to limit caffeine. We've badgered the coffee drinkers. I'm a coffee drinker right now, but when I'm really healthy, I'm doing no caffeine or decaf. We've got a 2-year-old right now that's putting us through the ringer. He's a little turd. So we want to limit it 8 to 10 hours before bedtime, if possible. It takes 12 hours for your body to process caffeine. 12 hours for it to almost fully process it. So if you're going to bed, if you want to be really safe, if you're going to bed at 9, you should really have your last cup of coffee around 9. Any questions on that? I want to get up. Does anybody know, if you had to guess, sympathetic or parasympathetic, which nervous system does caffeine stimulate? Sympathetic. It's a sympathetic stimulant. So if you live a stressful life, caffeine is not the best thing for you. If you guys can handle all the studies show, do 1 cup, do like a little bit. It's when you get into the 2 and 3 cups, especially around 3 cups, you're not as good at processing blood sugar. It does some really bad things to your body. It's going to blow your adrenals out. So if you got to do it, try to do 1 cup. I'm talking to you.
I only do 2.
Oh, okay.
And nothing else.
I'm gonna quit picking on you.
Caffeine isn't limited to coffee.
Correct. Yeah. It is a drug. I just want to be clear. It is. It's a socially acceptable drug. So yes.
Chocolate has
Chocolate does too. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you expound more on the impact to your adrenal system that coffee or caffeine has?
So it's gonna stimulate the release of cortisol. It's gonna stimulate corticoids. It's why. So what caffeine does, another bad side effect through your adrenals, is it makes you dump off sodium. So who's heard that caffeine's a diuretic? It's not really a diuretic per se. It makes you urinate sodium, and water always follows sodium. So that's why you have to, there's a big, with adrenals, they're close. My father has Addison's disease, so I know a lot about it. He has to intake a lot of salt because he has no adrenal function. And your adrenals, they look after your electrolytes, your salt, your potassium, your magnesium. So we know caffeine stimulates the adrenals because it makes you dump out salt. It's going to stimulate the release of cortisol. It's going to stimulate the release of like norepinephrine and epinephrine. Those are some of the functions of it. The main function though in the brain is it doesn't give you energy. It binds to the signals in your brain that tell you that you're tired. So it doesn't give you energy, it just takes up and you're just not tired. That'd be the better way of saying it. Is everybody with me? It's not that you have more energy, you're just less tired, would be the best way of saying it. So that'd be the best way I can explain it. Do you have a specific question about it, or?
Well, I mean, I drink probably 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day. It scatters throughout the day. I never finish a cup. I'm gonna drink a half a cup, dump it out, get a fresh cup later. But I have very low adrenal function. And that's the first time I've ever heard that.
If I had any,
Little to no adrenal function.
so Cinnamon, if I had, which it makes sense why you need to try to reach for the coffee all day. Do you know what I mean? So I would avoid, if I had any type of adrenal issue, I would cut caffeine out completely. Yeah, yeah. So you'd be amazed at how much of a neurological effect just going through the process of drinking decaf, how that will almost remind you and wake you up. Like just the process, the routine of going through drinking coffee, how much of that stimulating will help you with energy, even with no caffeine.
The smell of it.
Yeah, Yes.
So it's okay to do decaf, even though it's.
Yeah, Swiss method decaf. Swiss method.
Yeah, I had to go to decaf because of some heart concerns. And I found that I enjoyed the flavor of the coffee. That's really what
It wasn't about the caffeine. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Oh, no, I can tell decaf.
Oh,
We were at our in-laws and I kept saying, why am I so tired? He goes, well, they only drink decaf. But I was like, no wonder.
all these softies here. You're great. Yes.
So basically, gym workouts, all the gym workout powders and everything, basically,
Yeah.
no go.
Stimulant. The stimulant. You're talking about the pre-workouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of pre-workouts. I can give you, if you're looking for stuff for working out, I can give you what I take. But you want a stimulant-free workout, in my opinion. Yeah. Okay. Again, this is under the realm of sleep, hormonal health, adrenal health. We want to, another great one. We got to limit alcohol. Dr. Sherry. Okay, so who knows, alcohol, it's a depressant, but it's really bad for your sleep. And the 2 ways it's bad for your sleep, and this is on the sheet, is number 1, it causes sleep apnea because it relaxes all the muscles in your throat and in your upper neck. And 2, do you guys remember on that video she was talking about REM and non-REM sleep? Mm-hmm. It interrupts REM sleep. And here's the hard part too. Most sleeping pills do the same thing alcohol does. So you'll go to sleep on sleeping pills, but you will get much lower quality sleep. And this is not even argument. Doctors will tell you this. It is when you have to take a sleep aid, you're going to get, your quality of sleep is going to be much lower. Okay? So, yeah, might as well enjoy the alcohol, right? Yes.
What about, I'm only asking because I have a lot of problems sleeping, and my oldest son is telling me, Mom, you gotta go get a gummy or something to,
Yeah.
to make.
Like a CBD or marijuana gummy, also low, that's going to affect your sleep.
And I told him, know that, I take melatonin and stuff like that, but I have so much trouble. And so I was wondering if the gummy thing is gonna be the same as the sleep medication in the alcohol.
It is. Yep. Marijuana, THC, and this is well documented, makes your sleep quality much less. We're going to get into the hardcore supplements that you can try that are not going to hurt you as badly. Okay? 2 hours. 2 hours. Yeah. It's the same with food. So you want to stop drinking 2 hours before bed.
The sleep study doctor said that that's the number one alcohol is what people go to first for sleeping.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
It's not good for you.
Well, after 6 ounces, it's like defeats the purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a stimulant.
Yep.
Becomes a stimulant.
Okay. We want to work out, preferably not at night. All right? Preferably, if you want good sleep. Now, if you can sleep while working out at night, we want to get a workout in. But this is huge. Does anybody know why working out is so good for sleep? So that's what you would think, but working out's the opposite. You're like an alternator. So the more you work out, the more energy you have. It actually gives you more energy. So exercise, number 9, exercise helps the body sleep by telling it that it is awake. When your core body temperature goes up, it tells all the systems in your body, hey, this lady's awake. Hey, this guy's awake. Does that make sense? When you don't work out, your body is in limbo, like, are you really awake? Are you not awake? Is everybody with me? It tells every system in the body, we're awake, and it sets the rhythm for sleep and wake. Is everybody with me? That is why exercise helps with sleep. It raises your body temperature and tells every single system in your body, hey, we're awake. So then we go like, oh, it's time to go to sleep. That is super important. Exercise is enormous if you have issues with sleep. So that is a tool that we want to use. A minimum is 10 minutes. Get your body temperature up. So if you're exercising for sleep, all you got to really do is get a little sweat going, 10 minutes intensity exercise. That's going to be enough to tell you you're awake. So my favorite workout is like if I'm at a hotel or I just got to work out to get in, it's like 100 burpees. Does everybody know what a burpee is? Yeah. So you get on the ground and jump, or like 100 push-ups or 100 squats, something you can do 100 of for time just to get your body temperature up and tell your body you're awake. You'd be amazed if it's like, you're not going to get like big muscles from that, or you're not going to lose 100 pounds from that, but you'll feel sorry, I just spit all over you. I apologize. You will feel so much better throughout the day because you've told yourself you're awake. Is everybody like not worked out for 2 weeks and you just don't feel good? Your body's in limbo. It's like it doesn't really know it's awake. We want to wake it up. Okay? So, and then the recommendation we have for anybody with sleep issues, this is really the best nutrition plan I have ever done. I've done them all. Carnivore, ketogenic, vegan, the Max Living Advanced plan. It's also called the slow carb diet. It is the best nutrition plan. So I can get you more resources on this. This is not a nutrition talk, but it's essentially vegetables, meat, fermented cheeses. It's how my family eats. You can do a little bit of fruit. It is by far the best plan there is. Yes.
Okay. So are you the one that's selling the grass beef?
That's my brother, Dr. Callahan. Yeah.
Okay, now, is there a difference between the grass beef and the finished beef affecting sleep?
I don't know about sleep. So the big thing with the grain and grass finished beef is the fat in it.
Okay.
And it's the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. That is the main thing. So if you have a grass-fed pound of hamburger, that's a health food. If you have a corn-fed ground, that is not a health food. It's too high on omega-6s, and that's going to cause inflammation when you eat it. That's what you're paying extra for, is for the fat in the meat. Yeah, so hands down, it is the fat content that's different in the two. There's a couple other little differences, but that's the main difference. Yeah.
Cheaper to produce.
Grain-fed or
Grain-fed.
grain-fed? Yeah.
The grass-fed,
Yeah.
grass-finished, when you cook it, you can tell because it has a really good sear on it. You know, you can tell the difference between
Yeah.
it.
Well, I can
know I bought.
the difference in the eggs. Like as you start to do more of this, you'll see we're big proponents. Spend your money on your protein.
Right.
Don't worry about the organic avocado or the organic vet. Like that'd be better if you can, but you get more bang for your buck with your animal products. Yep. All right. So let's talk about supplementation. And I want to be clear. Ideally, I would like everybody in here to not have to take a supplement to go to sleep. Can we be clear? Okay, so I would try that first. Do the tools that we talked about and see if you can sleep without this. But if you know, like, what was your name?
Abby.
Abby? Is it Abby? Mm-hmm. Like you've historically had a problem sleeping. You would probably, if you know you've had an issue, you'd want to start to go to these resources. Okay, and there's a step-by-step operation to do this. So. Number 10, the order of supplementation for sleep. The first thing you want to try is just a greens powder. Greens powders are proven to help with sleep. Number 1, because they're high in leafy greens, which are high in magnesium. And it's food grade magnesium. It's like you're getting magnesium from your food, not a supplement. It's also high in calcium and B6, which is a precursor for melatonin. It's also high in tryptophan and vitamin C, which is also a precursor for melatonin and serotonin. So there's a lot of good regulatory molecules in greens powder. So just start with that for a month. Okay? That's your first step.
Does it count? I'm already on the espresso one.
So you're already taking that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're gonna have to bring in the bigger guns. Okay, so you would continue doing greens, and then you would go to a magnesium glycinate is the best form of magnesium. Okay? You're gonna want.
Number 2.
That's number 2, magnesium glycinate. There's like 12 different types of magnesium. You want magnesium glycinate.
Is there a milligram?
I don't know what the dose is on that. I'm assuming it's going to be probably 200 to 500 milligrams. I could be wrong, but I'm unsure of the dose. Okay, everybody with me on that?
Yep.
Yes.
Is there a particular time of day taking
Nope.
those supplements?
No, ma'am. This one there is. These two, there's just get it in. Just get it in throughout the day. Okay? Bless you. Now we're going to talk about the big guns. This is if you probably have a truly clinical sleep problem. The third supplement we're going to try is a sleep and mood formula. And this has a sleep stack in it. These are specific compounds that are highly correlated in the literature with helping people with clinical sleep problems get sleep. So not just the normal population, people that have trouble sleeping. The big one is this one called L-theanine. This packs a big punch when it comes to sleep. It is not recommended if you sleepwalk or have night terrors or you have overly intense dreams. So you're going to be the judge of that. If you sleepwalk, you don't want to take this. This will put you into a deep sleep and you'll probably sleepwalk. Okay? Yep, sure. It's going to have a small dose of melatonin, L-tyrosine, glutamine, P5P, L5-HTP. Those are in inositol. That's a sugar. Those are all really important for melatonin production, serotonin production. They're for the neurotransmitters you need to get to sleep and stay asleep. Okay? We only have 2 bottles of those here. We've had some issues with ordering supplements. You can, if you feel like we don't have it and you want one, you can order it from us. But let's reserve those for people that really have like hardcore sleep problems. This could be a lifesaver, getting you to sleep. The goal of this is to not take this long term, to try to cycle off of it once you get your rhythm going, like after 90 days. Is everybody with me? That's really our goal. We want to get to a place where we don't have to use melatonin as a crutch and these things as a crutch. Okay? Any questions on supplementation for sleep? We have 2 other products that are paired with CBD to amplify. We have a Relax CBD, which is magnesium glycinate and CBD mixed. And then we have a Sleep, which is melatonin and CBD mixed. I do not recommend them for long-term use. They're more for short-term, like I'll take them when I'm flying or I can't, like I want to sleep on a plane. Do you know what I mean? Or I don't want to be jet lagged. It's not something I'm doing consistently, but they're good to have in your arsenal, like if you really need to go to sleep once in a while. But we do not want to use high doses of melatonin long-term. There's a lot of negative side effects. Do not let your kids or grandkids take melatonin long-term, guys. Okay? It's going to interrupt their puberty. It's going to interrupt hormone cycles, and it's not good for adults either long-term. So that's just a disclaimer on melatonin. It's a hormone. It will get down-regulated. You'll become dependent on it. It can get, I've seen it with patients. It's just a short-term solution we're ever going to use. Okay?
Just to let you know, people need to check with their psychiatrist if they're on any kind of psychiatric medicine, because the CBD can affect that.
Can it?
So, yeah, you got to be real careful.
All right, good to know. The best form of melatonin, if you have to take it, is transdermal. You'd want to get a cream. Okay, so your liver doesn't have to process it. Melatonin is hard for the liver to break down. So, everybody with me? This is important stuff, guys. These are tools, they're powerful tools, but we don't want to have to make them crutches, especially the sleep and mood formula. All right. So step number 2 for fixing your sleep, we're going to master our nighttime and morning routines. Routine is key with sleep. If you have poor nighttime practices, you're going to have poor sleep. I was just talking to Tyson over here about, he's like, hey, I just started not sleeping great like about 10 years ago. Like right around the time that like cell phones came out, So that's the light, especially phones, TVs. We'll get into that, but we cannot have those poor nighttime practices. We're going to get poor sleep. So what we want to do at night is we want to dim the lights 1 hour before bedtime. We want to turn off distractions if we can. Keep it quiet, slow down. My favorite is read a book. You want to read historical fiction or fiction. You don't want to read like self-help at night. You want your brain to turn off. So fiction is the best thing to do at night.
Or Stephen King.
And this is got to be a routine. Now, this is one of the questions here. Number 11, the most important aspect of your bedtime routine is what's called a trigger. You want what's called a habit trigger. When you read up on habits, the most powerful habits have a trigger. So for me, I'll share with you what I do is when I put my kids to bed, their bedtime is between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. You guys know how that goes. You know, you wrangle them up, am I reading them a story? Some nights they brush their teeth, they're in bed like angels. Some nights they're, it's war. So 7:30 to 8, right after they go to bed, I set my phone for an hour. So I have an hour to connect with my wife, wind down. Once that alarm goes off, it could be, depending on what time they went to bed, it's either 8:30 or 9. All of this my bedtime routine goes into effect. I turn off the lights, I lock the doors, I feed the dog. I turn the heat down because you want your room 2 to 3 degrees colder. Your body temperature has to go down 1 to 3 degrees for you to get good sleep and stay asleep. Okay. Yep. You're not going to sleep good if you're too hot. Yeah. So the goal with that, and this may be on another slide, you want thin blankets, many layers, to be able to get the right temperature and layer off. Also putting your foot out, 1 foot out for temperature regulation. I've done all this. So get 1 foot out, but you want to have an almost uncomfortably cold when you first get in, and then feel okay. But you want it to almost be uncomfortably cold when you get into bed. Yes.
Weighted blankets?
You know what? I think that's personal preference. So if they work for you, it didn't work for me. I kind of made me like claustrophobic a little bit. But cinnamon, for some people, they say it is like they feel secure and safe.
You feel helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I noticed that I had a duvet cover that's pretty heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and I had that plus my other cover, and our legs started getting cramps that night.
so,
The heavy.
so pulling your feet down and stuff, and
Yes,
yeah.
and we were waking up going, why do we have cramps in our legs? It was from those blankets being too heavy.
Everything I've read, the best bedtime hygiene with blankets is multiple thin blankets is the best.
I took it off, trust me.
So I want you guys to think about, what is your trigger? What is the trigger that says it's time to start my nighttime routine? What could it be? What was that?
Circadian rhythm, right?
We're going to get deep into that, but you have to have, because as humans, what used to be the trigger? Sun's down. That's not the trigger anymore. We got lights on inside. I wish I should have taken a picture. I got 2 big street lights out in my front yard. So I've got to black out curtains. I've got to do all those things. But we've got to have our own trigger, because God's trigger, nature's trigger. I don't know if you guys have gone camping or gone hunting. You get on that circadian real good, because about an hour after the sun goes down, you're ready to go to bed. Because candlelight doesn't count. Firelight doesn't count. It's light from devices, and these overhead lights are the worst. Lights in your house, unless they're red light spectrum, they make special lights, it's going to make you feel like the sun's still out. So we're missing that trigger. We got to have our own trigger. Okay? This is real important stuff. A bath or a shower is great. This is my wife's nighttime routine. Epsom salt has more magnesium. This is a good routine. Oddly enough, a cold shower can make you tired. You would think it would wake you up, but it brings your body temperature down, and it makes you so after you get past the shock of it, it'll make you want to go to sleep. So, but I would experiment with that, hot or cold, see if it helps you. Put the phone down. I would say this is not as bad with the older generation, but kind of the younger, like my age or younger, we have a big issue with this. You have to have hard rules. This is not allowed in my bedroom. If it makes it in the bedroom, guess where it's going? Oh, here, I'll go to sleep as I watch something, or it's a no-go. So it's got to be put in another room. I can hear the alarm. This is my alarm from the other room. It's been a game changer. There's got to be a hard rule not allowed in the bedroom if you have an issue with this. Okay? So hard rule in place. Morning routine. Make your bed. They don't know why, but in studies it makes it easier to sleep. They think it's because it feels better to get into a made bed. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to the hotel and it's made every day for you. So that could be a good habit to start, but it's easier to get in a made bed than a messy bed. This is the most important thing we are going to talk about tonight when it comes to sleep. Hands down. Upon 30 minutes of waking, getting sunlight in your eyes for 10 to 20 minutes is the most important thing for sleep. Nothing compares. You want to look towards the sun, not directly in the sun, and it cannot be through glass. It needs to be outside. You cannot, the glass defeats the purpose. You don't get it filters out the UV rays we need to trigger the circadian rhythm. Okay? It's hard this time of year, guys. I get it. Do what you can upon 30 minutes of waking. Even if it's cloudy, get outside and look towards the sun. This has been a game changer for me. Of anything we did, this is what helped me the most.
That sun is way, way far away from 30 minutes of me.
You're up that early, are you?
At least 4.
So what I would, if you could watch the sun come up, that would be great.
Yeah, I was doing that. I was going earthing and doing.
Yeah, now we're talking. Let's get hippie. Yeah. Yeah.
I go to work, it's dark. I come home.
Can you get outside for a little bit? Is that possible?
Well, yeah, I used to go walking to the stop sign and back during lunch hours, but, it's still gloomy out.
If you could get out for literally 10 minutes is the threshold in all the studies. If you could set up anything you can do. The two best times are right when the sun comes up and late in the afternoon before the sun goes down. The light spectrum of the sun is really red, and it tells your brain really important things. It's super important. It helps with the immune system. It helps with cortisol. It helps with, has anybody heard of Huberman? Anybody heard it? He's got the really cool podcast. He's like this Stanford ophthalmologist that's really into natural health, and he backs everything up with science. This is his number one health protocol and not just for sleep, for health in general, is this.
So that means you drink a glass of wine and watch the sun go down.
Yeah. Non-alcoholic wine. Drinking your decaf coffee in the morning, your non-alcoholic wine. Yep. But what's so neat about this is just what we would do in nature. This is just what we would naturally do. Like, you would watch the sun come up, you would watch the sun go down, and this is what we need. Consistency is key. I cannot tell you how much you mess yourself up by going to bed at 9 o'clock one night and 11 o'clock the next night. All the studies are, it takes you a week or 3 days to a week to catch up. We want to keep everything within an hour window if possible. I'm not perfect, not a perfect world, but guys, if you could keep your wake up time and your going to bed time within an hour buffer, that's a great key for routine. Okay? Okay, so we talked about circadian rhythm. We're going to go through step by step these are really what I did. And the biggest things, we want to view sunlight by going outside 30 to 60 minutes upon waking. So that's not meaning you're outside for 30 to 60 minutes. That means when you wake up, try to get outside and look at the sun within an hour of waking. And it really just needs to be 10 to 20 minutes. On a cloudy day, 20 minutes. On a sunny day, 10 minutes. When you wake up at the same time every day, that is more important than when you go to bed. You want to make your wake up time the same time. And the best thing you can do is immediately get vertical. Does anybody here kind of lay in bed for a little bit? You want to get vertical as quickly as you can. So when you're in bed, get vertical. You're the snooze queen? So that, just keep in your mind, the best thing you do is get upright. That's going to change a lot of the systems in your body. And you need to go to sleep at night the moment you feel sleepy. Is everybody with me? So your bedtime is not what needs to be consistent. Wake up at the same time and then go to bed when you get tired. That is the strategy. Is everybody with me? We want to avoid viewing bright lights, especially dry overhead lights between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Candlelight, moonlight, firelight are fine. You can utilize blue blockers. Those are those blue filtered sunglasses. You'd be surprised that when you wear them at night how tired you get when you wear them before you go to bed. They're called blue light filter glasses. They're not sunglasses, they're like reading glasses. You want to limit daytime naps to less than 90 minutes or don't nap at all. Expect to feel very alert around 1 hour before your natural bedtime. That's okay. So what you'll feel is you'll have a moment of alertness, and then you'll taper down and get a sleepy an hour later. So if your natural bedtime's 10, just know you may be alert around 9 o'clock at night. Keep the bedroom cool and dark. Layer thin blankets. Your body needs to drop 1 to 3 degrees to fall and stay asleep. Okay? The last point I want to make here, understand your age and your sleep needs. As you age, your sleep needs do go down. And you can look that up online. Yes?
I don't have any problem going to sleep. No problem. I just can't stay asleep.
So then we're into different, it could be perimenopausal. Women can have issues staying asleep. Men that have to get up and use the restroom. Those are the two big categories that don't stay asleep. So
So how many hours, if you're older, should you get?
you'll have to look that up. It kind of tapers down with your age, but I know as you get like really old, like as you age into your 80s. No, I'm talking like you literally I think it's like 5 hours or less. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know the answer to that.
They get 5 hours.
I need 8.5 hours. People are different. And how you know that is like you go on a camping trip or you take they're called sleep vacations. So I've learned so much through doing this. If you want to get better at sleep and you have a sleep problem, sleep has to be your primary health concern. Exercise comes secondary, nutrition comes secondary. Everything you do in life has to be in service of getting more sleep. Or it's got to be on the front burner. That's the only way sleep gets better. A really cool tactic to know how much sleep you need is called a sleep vacation. It's when you go on vacation, never set an alarm, try to go to bed at a normal time and chart how much you sleep when you can sleep in. And what I found is if I was left to my own devices and sleep, I'm actually going to sleep a little bit longer than 8 hours. You kind of average it over that week I did it, and that's when you know how much sleep you need. Some people it's less. You're like, you know what? I only need 6 hours. I only need 7 hours. But you only know for yourself if you do a sleep vacation. Okay? Any questions about that? What's that?
My life is a sleep vacation.
Perfect.
Because I'm retired.
Yeah.
But I still wonder about, because I wake up 3 times a night at least.
So-
To get up, and I go back to sleep, but still.
So I think that is most likely a perimenopausal question. We can talk to Dr. Sarah about that.
Okay.
There's a different strategy. What I would do is I would try these, but I don't think they're going to work.
Well, I've been doing all of this.
Yes, so I don't think it's going to work. I think it's perimenopausal in nature. Okay, so the last step is we want to remove interference to the stress and nervous system. How does stress impact your brain? Number 13, stress affects sleep by telling your brain you are not safe.
What was 12 then? Was it sunlight 10 minutes?
Oh, there we go. The two most important aspects of morning routine, of your morning routine, are waking up at the same time and sunlight in the eyes 30 minutes to an hour upon waking. Those are the two most important factors of a morning routine. Really, sleep in general. Those are the top two. Wake up at the same time and get outside. So stress is telling you you're not safe. When we were hunter-gatherers, if you were not safe, was it safe to sleep? No. It wasn't safe to sleep. Now, we are safe to sleep now, even though you're stressed, but your brain and body is thousands of years old. It doesn't know that. So it thinks it's not safe to go to sleep. That's what stress does to us. So we need to have tools in our toolbox to let our body and our brain know we're safe and get out of that sympathetic nervous body. So we want to focus on peace management, really not eliminating stress. And these are really the things that build peace management. If you read fiction, I got a Kindle and you can put it on dark mode. That's going to take your mind off what you're stressing about, get you thinking about, take you to another world. This is real important. We want to, You could journal before bed and think about the things you're grateful for. So what you focused on expands. So if you focus on what you're grateful for, your problems or the things you're stressing about will typically shrink. You could do some yoga or stretching. This does not work for me. When I stretch, guess what it does to me? It wakes me up. But for some people, it calms them down. So it's worth a try. These are things you got to experiment. Cold shower, again, you would think that would wake you up. It makes me tired. And there's a lot of literature on it making you tired. You can look up NSDR, which stands for non-sleep deep rest meditation. You can get a meditation app. This is free. They have a ton of free of these on YouTube. They make it easier to fall asleep and listen to. The strongest tool, though, is what we're going to talk about is a physiological sigh. Show of hands, who's heard of it? Cool. Okay, so we got, this is the strong, heard about it here? Here, yeah. So when I have a patient that comes in and they've been in a car, who here has been in a car accident? Do you feel, you know how you're like stressed for like a couple days afterwards? Yeah, or depending on how bad the accident is, like Dr. Ben was in a very severe accident. He was in how long do you think you were in sympathetic overload for, Dr. Ben? Still going. Still going.
I think that's part of
Yeah. So that's a life, you got to understand how unnatural, that's a life or death situation, your body, the trauma that is absorbed. So I've been in some, not that bad, but I remember like the whole week I was like, what's wrong with me? And you're stressed. And I've been giving this tool to our patients that have been in motor vehicle accidents, and it's really helped. It's called the physiological sigh, and it was discovered in the 1930s. And what it does is it helps with your CO2 and oxygen balance in your blood, and it takes you out of sympathetic, and it puts you in it tricks your body into parasympathetic nervous system. I'm going to demonstrate for you, and then we're all going to do it together once. And I just want you to feel what it feels like. So you're going to inhale through your nose. You're going to exhale through your mouth. I'm going to inhale 90% of my lungs capacity, 80 to 90%. And then once I feel like I'm about 80% full, I'm going to take another hard inhale and shrug up my shoulders and try to force more air. What we're trying to do is you have little alveoli, which are the little sacs in your lungs that transfer CO2 and oxygen. We want to force air deep down into the deep recesses of your lungs where it may not be getting to. And then we're going to slowly exhale out your mouth, like really slow, like you're doing it. You know, one of those coffee straws? You know, like you're going through one of those small coffee straws. So you guys watch me. I'm going to go through a physiological sigh. So immediate change in physiology.
Were you letting it out through your mouth?
My mouth was super slow. So let's everybody sit up in good posture. And we're all going to try this. Everybody, we're going to give 110% here. I would go at about 80% where you feel like you're full. And I mean, when I say hard, shoulders up, get as much as you can force in. It almost make you lightheaded. You want to really force it in and then super slow controlled exhale. Okay, everybody ready? Let's go. Anybody feel different just from doing that? Little different. So the literature on this is crazy. If you do that for 5 minutes a day, it lowers cholesterol, it lowers high blood pressure, it does all these crazy things. But guys, just have that as a tool. If you really want to use the benefits of that, you would do like set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes and just do that for 5 minutes a day. You'd be amazed at how much it de-stresses you. It's a very powerful tool to have.
So you're saying 5 minutes once a day?
Once a day for 5 minutes. And you can look up the study that was done on that, all the physiological changes that happen when people do that.
You could do it that while you're looking at the sun.
Now we're talking. Drinking your decaf coffee. taking your magnesium. Now we're habit stacking. I like this. This is good. Okay. Which one are you up here? Which one of these guys? All of them. So all over the place. Okay. So whoever's been a patient here or a practice member here for a long time, who can tell me for the spine the best sleep position? Soldier or the free faller. Even the starfish is not we want to be on our back if possible. Okay? Now, I want to be very clear, guys. The best sleep position is the one that you can sleep in. Okay? That is the best sleep position. And usually you can't sleep in a position, and I'm gonna maybe ruffle some feathers, because you don't have good mobility. It's uncomfortable to lay on your back because you don't have enough hip extension, and it's gonna make your low back hurt, or your shoulders or your head's too forward, so when you lay on your back it hurts. So we got to be, the real reason this should be comfortable, it's not comfortable, you need to work on your mobility, your home care, your spine. That's a sign that we need to do some work on your body. But if in the meantime, any of these positions, we want to try to avoid the fetal position if possible. Okay? Are you a fetal? So I am here too. This is a sign of being high stress. Think about when you're stressed. Your natural response is to curl and go into a fetal position. You want to try to avoid it. It creates a feedback loop that's not good for you. So if you can... I mean, I'm with you. This used to be my favorite position to sleep in, on my side in the fetal position. There's a lot of literature. You want to try to get out of it. And it stimulates the sympathetic nervous system. This is, think of how vulnerable you are. All your organs exposed. It can be uncomfortable for a lot of people to sleep this way because they don't want to be this vulnerable. This feels weird to them. This feels really safe, and you're protecting yourself. Okay? The key is you got to just fall asleep in that, but you can't control how you wake up. Yeah, no. So usually you won't stay in this position because you don't have the hip mobility, or it's uncomfortable for you, so you'll move around in the middle of the night. Okay? So this is just a picture. There's no pillows. So you bring up a good point. So number 15, the most appropriate sleep position is on your back with your sleep aids. So sleep aids are rolls that we recommend to mold your spine and heal ligament damage in your low back and neck while you're sleeping. The only ways ligaments heal is by making them shorter. The only way to make them shorter is with round cylinders under them at night. So it's really to help ligament damage in the neck and low back. That's ideal. It took me 4 months before I could do it, guys. I know it's a battle. Do your best. But if you can make it 30 minutes, you're doing really good. You're doing good.
I finally can sleep like a shoulder, but I can't use a pillow. I have to use the 2 rolls.
Cool.
In here, and I sleep all, when I can sleep.
That's really, you should be proud of that. That's really good. You don't know how much that helps your spine. It helps us, your doctors, so much when you sleep like that. All right, let's talk. This is one of the major questions we get. What mattress do you recommend? Everybody thinks chiropractors are mattress experts. So we became mattress because we were getting the question so much. There's 3 keys to a good mattress, and bioposture, this is what we recommend. And I tried every mattress. Number 1, for the price, it's actually really good. You can spend a lot of money on a mattress, upwards of $5,000, $6,000. This is what we would call a lower to middle tier mattress, depending on your size. For the price, they range from $1,200 to $2,700. That's like $2,700 for like the California King, the big one. But the 3 keys to a good mattress are, number 1, that it is firm. We want a firm mattress. Number 2, and this is so important, that it's durable. Who's got the mattress that makes the valley where you sleep who's ever had one of those before? We had a really expensive Tempur-Pedic. After 3 years, you do not want to be sleeping in a hammock. You want a firm foundation. What did we evolve sleeping on as humans? The ground. That's really, I'm not saying we have to sleep on the ground. We don't want to be sleeping on concrete floors. But this is a firm, medium to more on the firm side mattress. And these were designed by a chiropractor. This is the right firmness. It's perfect. And then number 3, it's non-toxic. Now, the only way to get a non-toxic mattress is you have to have a doctor's note. If you buy a mattress that says it's non-toxic, it is not non-toxic. It will have flame retardants in it because they can only by law be made with a doctor's note. Everybody with me? So I got avocado mattress that says it's non-toxic. It's illegal to make a mattress without a doctor's note, without the flame retardants, because what did people used to do in the 50s? Does anybody here smoke in bed? You don't need a flame retardant mattress in, okay? Flame retardant chemicals are one of the most toxic chemicals you will come in contact with as an endocrine disruptor. You don't want to be sleeping on. I know you got sheets and stuff, but yep. I used to work out with a lot of guys that were on testosterone replacement therapy that were my age because they were in Humvees and it comes out and they were hit by an ID and it was sprayed all over them in the Humvees. And they had lifelong endocrine issues from the flame retardants they were exposed to. So we do not want to sleep on them. If you guys want one of these mattresses, let us know. I'll order it for you. We'll get 10% off for you, and then we'll write you a note so they'll make it with no flame retardants. But this is what we recommend.
What was the second one?
Firm, durable, and non-toxic. I have had my BioPosture now for 11 years, and there's no hump in it. It is completely. I think it's going to last 20, 25 years. Who knows? But that's what I think it's going to last. Okay. Subluxation interferes with brain neurology. So I mentioned somebody said, I was in a bad car accident and I don't feel like it's taken a long time. It could have caused subluxation. That's when the spine moves out of its normal position. That's what we're trying to adjust for. That's what we're finding when we adjust you guys as subluxations. Subluxations tell the brain that it is not safe. It's injured. Subluxation interferes with sleep by telling your brain it needs to be in fight or flight. So is anybody here an OU Sooner fan? Sooner? So big Sooner fan? Okay. So you guys may see their number 1 defensive recruit is a guy named Danny, and he's a patient here. Sweet high school kid, homeschooled kid. He is forced. He's at the All-American. He was at the All-American game, the Army All-American game last weekend. Very nice kid. He's probably going to play in the NFL. He's a stud. He's going to be. He's a defensive end for OU. They're going to play him as a freshman. He's really good. And football's traumatic on you. It's like car accident or sitting at football is very traumatic. We adjusted him right before he went to the All-American game, and it was his 3rd adjustment. He goes, I don't know what you're doing, but I am sleeping unbelievably. And sleep's important for him because he's trying to put on weight before he goes to OU. He's working out twice a day, and he's not recovering from his workouts because he's got a lot on his mind. He's getting ready to go to OU. Now they have the NIL deals. Do you guys know about this in college where he can make a lot of money when he goes to OU? He's got a lot on his plate, and he's having trouble sleeping, and now he can sleep because of the removing of the subluxation from football. So that is the big deal, is when you have a spinal injury from either sitting at a computer or a fall or a car accident or playing a sport, it's going to tell your brain that you may not be safe. There is more research on chiropractic and insomnia and sleep conditions than there is on like low back pain. It is well proven that chiropractic helps with sleep. And the reason it works is because every adjustment you get is going to down-regulate your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight, and it's going to up-regulate your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest, every time you get adjusted. So it's going to help balance those 2 parts of your nervous system. So when we started this talk, the stat we led with is there's 50 to 70 million people that have sleep problems, clinical sleep problems. We now know the main cause of clinical sleep problems is what? Do you guys remember? Overactive sympathetic nervous system. What do 50 to 70 million people need every once in a while? They need an adjustment. They need chiropractic. It is way underutilized for sleep. Extremely, it's utilized for low back pain, headaches, neck pain, spinal problems. It is extremely underutilized for sleep. So this is kind of a plug for make your schedule with adjustments and do your home care. Sleep on your rolls, do your traction, do the things that were recommended. Those things are going to help balance your nervous system. If you are a guest here, feel free to make an appointment, get checked, see if subluxation. If you've never had an x-ray, take advantage of that and get your spine checked. All right. Why chiropractic helps so much with sleep is because it gets to the root cause of insomnia, which is most often an overactive sympathetic nervous system. Number 18. We want to get to the root cause as much as possible. All right, so what are our action steps? We got a lot. Did we cover a lot tonight? Yeah. A lot of things to do, right? Anybody got to take a sleep vacation? That sounds kind of fun, doesn't it?
I don't think there is such a thing. I wake up at the same time every day. Even when I worked, I never set an alarm. I didn't need it. I got up every day at the same time. Even though I went to bed, not so much the same time, I always wake up at the same time.
That's good.
Well, now I don't want to get
Yeah,
up that early.
Okay. So we want to unplug 30 minutes before bed. Hard rules, no phones in the bedroom. Have a nighttime trigger because our old trigger's gone, which was the sun going down. Black out, make your bedroom your sleep sanctuary. That's putting black tape over like little lights, and stuff, or chargers. Any little light needs to be covered up and taped over. Wake up at the same time every morning. View sunlight if possible. Make that a priority. Lower your bedroom temperature. Make your bed every morning. Eliminate caffeine. No sugar or alcohol within 2 hours of bedtime. Exercise a minimum of 10 minutes a day, preferably not at night. We want to take magnesium glycinate if needed, sleep and mood, and Pure Path Max screens, and work on your spine regularly. You put all that together, that is a recipe for getting sleep. Okay? Now, I do want you guys to mark your calendars. Oh, go back.
I want to show that to my husband.
February 3rd. Number 19, mark your calendar for Saturday, February 3rd. We will be doing our Burn Fat and Restore Vitality Masterclass. That'll be a 3-hour in-depth lecture on nutrition, weight loss, metabolism. It's longer, but we go in more in depth, and we will be doing a weight loss challenge afterwards. Okay. It's our most event that most people go to. It's, I think, the best event. We are about to be the least motivated. Right now is the least motivated time, December. Then we're going to be into our most motivated time, which is January. And we scheduled this perfect right at the end when most people's motivation wears out, which is the beginning of February. We want to keep it going, guys. Okay? It'll be here. We'll have the time is to be announced, but it's usually 9 to 12. 9 to 12, we'll make smoothies. We'll have coffee going for you that morning. Yeah.
February
3rd, Saturday.
at 9 a.m.?
Yeah, it'll most likely be 9 a.m. Don't quote me on that. All right, guys, I want to close with just a real quick point. The two most important words in the human language are role model. Is being a role model. I know you guys may not know this. Some of you may. We've had some. You don't know how much more you know than other individuals when it comes to health through what you just sat through. You know a ton. You know more than you think you know. Being a chiropractic patient, you know more about natural healing than you think you know. Keep living it. Live it for yourself. But other people see what you do. You doing these things and taking these steps and talking about it may give somebody else permission to be more healthy. What I'm seeing is somebody's got to know somebody to be more healthy. Otherwise, they're going to kind of go in their cave. They may see their doctor. We know what they're not saying anything about doctors, but we know what the doctor's answer is most likely going to be. It's going to be a pharmaceutical, most likely. And there's a time and a place, but that's not something our culture, our country needs more of. It needs more people getting more sleep. Sleeping 8 hours, not being stressed, not having an unregulated nervous system, waking up with the sun, eating right, exercising, that's what we need more of. You may be the permission slip for somebody else to do it. So your actions really could ripple out because you're a role model with what you know how to do. Okay, guys? I appreciate y'all. You guys are a great group coming out in December. And now we can go to sleep. Yeah. Right. Thank y'all. Yeah, you're welcome.